Just make sure everything's okay. Hello. Hey, what's up? Dalen from the Young Adults Podcast. Here, what I think is a lot to say about what's going on, future events, um, how we feel, and just getting people to think about some different perspectives on what's going on. Before I start, I am for protesting. I am with that. I'm with all of this. This is action. This is the first stages to change. Protest is always the first stages to change, and nobody can say otherwise. History has the receipts. This is not a battle that we have not fought before as African Americans. This is the correct way to go in terms of protests. A lot of the community is broken up on how we should go about the protest. Should we be violent or should we be non-violent? And in either of those, violence will always be present, a factor, and something to be feared. There is no not violence even when you're having a non-violent protest, because people will be enforcing their will on you in some type of way, whether it's counter-protesters or police officers who are patrolling the streets or suppressing what they are calling riots or protests. There will always be violence. So for anyone to say that it is not, that is an illusion. There will be violence. All of us pretty much know what is going on. George Floyd's life was taken from him unjustly and without compassion and without humanity. We're asking for very basic things, and we've been asking for very basic things since as long as our grandparents can remember. And put simply, it is those three things. We're asking for sympathy, empathy, and humanity is all we're asking for in the very simplest form. Yet there's always some type of pushback on it, or we are met with some kind of force, physically or through the media and other publications. Now, so far, what has been going on is something that's always been going on. It was become seeming more prevalent because everything now is on some type of camera, and we have social media to share and spread. And if it doesn't get shut down or or if someone doesn't attempt to omit it, we can normally get it and process it and react. I just want to say rest in peace to Trayvon Martin, Sandra Bland, Katherine Johnston, Sean Bell, Eric Gardner, Rakia Bell, Amadou Diallo, Mike Brown, Kamani Gray, Kenneth Chamberlain, Traverse McGill, Tamir Rice, Ayanna Snelly Jones, Freddie Gary, and Philando Castillo, and many, many more black lives that have been taken away by police unjustly, and also no substantial consequence was passed down on these enforcers of the law. No conviction in a lot of these cases, and a lot of these we wouldn't know about had it not been recorded. The most impactful, but not the most important, but one of the most impactful considering it is the catalyst to the Black Lives Matter movement. It is the catalyst to some of us turning on to wanting to better our situation. Trayvon Martin. A lot of these names I've probably said, you probably remember all the details to the situations that led up to them dying. Tamir Rice, a 12-year-old kid, gunned down. Sandra Bland, murdered in police custody. Some even think that her mugshots were took of her dead. Eric Gardner, a similar situation to the situation we have now with George Floyd, put in a lock to where he could not breathe, while 4 or 5 police officers tried to restrain him. He was killed. And many more. Philando Castile, a law-abiding citizen who let an officer know that he had a gun in the car because he had legal rights to carry, but was still gunned down in front of his daughter and significant other. This is what is on our minds, most of our minds daily, every time we come into contact with just another video of police brutality or police abusing their power. This is what we have on our mind, and it just keeps building up and building up, building up and building up to what we have now. This is not the first time this has happened. This has happened several times during the 60s. You had the LA riots. This has happened plenty of times. We get so fed up and we're ready to take action because of these basic things we're asking for peacefully and civilly are not answered. And a lot of times it falls on deaf ears. I'll let that lead into why we started the Young Adults Podcast. This is one of my biggest reasons for why we started the Young Adults Podcast. I feel as though my generation, or people that I feel get lumped in a lot of the times when we're called lazy, uneducated, and other insults that are normally lobbed. It's this age group that's in between about 15, 16 to 20 to 22 years old. That's what I would call my generation. If you're those ages now or in between, that is what I would call my generation. That's about a decade of people that have experienced a lot of this stuff with a mind that was able to comprehend it. But we created this platform to kind of be the voice, because I like to say the older generation has us fucked up entirely. There are great minds amongst our generation that have things they want to do and enact, and some feel like they may lack the resources or the knowledge, or are so bogged down by the negativity that we get that they don't want to say anything because they fear they might be wrong or they might be ridiculed further. So that's why we created our platform, kind of an unapologetic voice for who you would now call young adults. Our maxim, the hub for spreading leadership, knowledge, and love. That is our maxim. That is what we are here to do, because I feel like those three things can overpower a lot of the struggles our generation and just us as African American people go through. a saying from Tupac. I don't know, I can't remember it verbatim, but I know it went a little something like this. He says, from the time that you're a teenager to a young adult in your 20s and stuff, that is the time you have to maximize the pressure you could put on in life. Because by the time you get to 30s and 40s, life has worn you down. And this is being very general. A lot of this doesn't apply to some people. It's a lot of people that are older that still get busy. But revolutions are fights for the young. This is our prime time to get as much knowledge as possible, to get as fit as possible, mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. This is our time so that we can face these issues that a lot of them were just passed down to us from people from before us. A lot of these fights are just unfinished fights that are passed down to us. We didn't ask for it, but we have to act if we want better for ourselves and for future generations. That is why we started YAP. And I want to say that a lot of our problems spring from a lack of hindsight, knowing our history, a lack of sympathy and empathy from the people that we're seeking justice from. In a lot of these places, we hold no power. And that sympathy and empathy is due to a lot of disenfranchising. This is just the state of where we're at. We have been disenfranchised. We are not taken seriously. A lot of our problems are looked at as just to be so remote and not affecting other lives that other people don't feel it is necessary to show sympathy or empathy, or to even think that it is a problem. And all, of course, as I've said previously, this leads up to this uncontrolled outburst of rage that we have ever so often. Something is just a straw that breaks the camel's back, like this situation that gets us out here so mad and so out of control that we just want to release it. And a lot of times that is violent when you push a people so far. And I'm not going to say that any of it is wrong. This is what happens. Life is, every action has a reaction. There are certain things that you will do that will cause something else to happen. This is from the action of a lack of action when we are asking for basic things, like being treated fairly in the legal system, like being treated with dignity and respect. Now, for the point behind the whole video, what I really wanted to get to is, what are we willing to sacrifice? What are we willing to sacrifice? As I said previously, there will be violence, whether we choose the nonviolent route. Someone will be wanting to do violence to us, because what we are asking for is literally to change the fabric of our nation and what is normal in a lot of people's minds. And humans are the most bullheaded when it comes to change. So there will be violence. There will be people not understanding. There will be hurt. There will be pain. There will be damage of property. And all of this is just casualties in this mental, physical, spiritual war that we're having. because that is in part what it is. That is what it is. This is war. This is strife. This is what we are having to fight against. So what are we willing to sacrifice for the people that really know in their hearts that they want change, that are going out there to protest? What is our end goal? Because we also have a lot of bullshit. And I'm talking to allies, and I'm talking to my people. So I'm talking to other people of color that are allies to the struggle, or even white people that are allies to the struggle, and I'm talking to my people. What is the end goal? When we step out here, standing groups of people in mass, facing down cops in riot gear that are further or steadily encroaching on our protests, what is the end goal? Since there will be violence, because to show that you're not scared, you have to be able to take a punch. To show that you're not scared, you have to stand your ground while they are encroaching with their rubber bullet guns, with their batons, with their mace and pepper spray, tear gas, shields. You have to be able to show that you're not afraid. So you have to be willing to take that risk that you might get hit over the head with a baton, that you might be slammed into the ground, that friend you're with might get hurt as well. You have to be able to take that risk to show that you're not scared. Our ancestors have already done it. Our grandfathers and grandparents have already done it. They've had their time. This is our time now. They had to deal with fire hoses, dogs being sicked on them, police and other civilians attacking them, spitting at them, calling them names, pulling at their hair, beating the fucking brakes off of them. They had to deal with that already. And as you can see, and even some of them will say, not much has changed. It's just the mediums that things are being done through now. Not much has changed. So we're going to have another strife. But what is the end goal? What is the end goal? As I said previously, there's a lot of bullshit that's clouding our purpose and making people not take us seriously. People that are only in these places of danger for clout, just to say that they were there. People there that are not even of our protest or of our ideals, that are just there to instigate problems, that are there to burn down and loot. Even though that might not have been the purpose of the demonstration, there are people there. There's a lot of bullshit. And the only way to fight against this bullshit and to obtain what our goal should be is to be more organized. We need leaders. We need people. We need people our age able to speak up and to say what needs to be done. Because this is our fight. We're fighting for us now, older age, and for our children in the future. This is no one else's fight. So we have to do it, unfortunately, but fortunately, because we have the ability to change history. So, organization. What is, for organization, we have to have one goal everybody can agree on that we can fight for. Secondly, we need marching orders. This is a part of it. This is war, as I said previously. And you could take that however you fucking want to take it. Because I have no other words to explain the strife we're going through right now, besides for it being war. You need marching orders. Everybody needs to have purpose in how they're going about things. Everybody needs to have purpose. There needs to not be any person that is just out here doing bullshit, like recording, just for fun. If somebody has a camera out It needs to be documenting the things that are going down. That's it. Not for social media hype. If someone is breaking in windows and that is not the goal for the demonstration you're having at that point in time, they need to be handled by the group. No outside forces. People have to know that when other people step out of line with our goals, that we will handle it. That is how you get taken seriously. That's how you get taken seriously. So somebody's busting windows, you're there, you have to stop it before it ruins a whole protest, because it normally takes one person. It might ruin the whole purpose of your demonstration by that person doing that, if that's not your goal. Now, if your goal is to disrupt the economy, is to make as much noise as possible and get as much eyes as possible, and that is the goal, then that is what you do. But if you're just wanting to advertise what the struggle is and get people to listen in a peaceful manner, you have to be able to quell that type of thing, because it can take one person to do it, then the next person, then the next person, and next thing you know, the whole reason you got together has changed, and now it can be relabeled and rebranded by the media, who can flip it any way they want to, or just by people that's watching. Organization. We have to be militant about this. We have to have discipline about this. This is no game. People's lives are at stake. If you feel like standing on top of a cop car or throwing rocks at windows, or if you feel that is necessary, but that is not the goal of your group, and you do it, you're putting your whole group at risk. Now, I think about it, if you look through history, a lot of massacres started because a person threw a rock or something like that. And then greater force met that little resistance. So you think you're doing that is doing something when you actually could be putting the rest of the group in the protest at risk. As we've already seen, they don't care who they shoot. They're shooting these rubber bullets and tear gas at news reporters. They're shooting it at the press. They're shooting it at you. They're riding through crowds, just spraying it at people that have nothing to do, innocent bystanders that aren't even a part of the demonstration. So we need to know the weight of which the decisions that we do in these moments have. We have to have discipline. I can honestly say, if you're not going to have that type of militant discipline about it, you either better get it or stay your ass home, because you're no help to nobody. If you're going to go out here, be prepared, because violence always has the chance to happen. Have a mask. Bring some form of protection. Wear extra layers, wear glasses, wear a hat, because violence always has the ability to happen. Violence always has the ability to happen. Look, this is just all my opinion, just based off of the knowledge that I have. I'm just a 19-year-old kid. So you can take with what you will. I'm only responsible for how I say things and what I say. I am not responsible for how people react. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. I don't feel anything I said needs further explanation. Discipline, a goal, is what we need. It's been successful in the past. The Black Panthers had to train people before they could go to the front lines to let them know what was going to happen, so they could have the mental fortitude to endure, to show they're not scared, to be unflinching when a baton is being swung at your head, or when people are being violent towards you, to be unflinching in that scenario. It's something you have to be prepared for. This is not no video game. This is not no game. You have to be prepared for it. We will be covering more of this on the podcast. We will be talking about this. This is a very important time in our lives where we have the ability to really be the catalyst for major change if it is done right. We'll be talking more about this on the podcast when we get together more because of COVID, because of this schedules not being able to be aligned. We were not able to record as much as we like to, but we will be putting our foot on the gas. We will be getting this information out to the young adults of this generation and in this country. If you have any ideas, on how this movement should go, what we should talk about, what should be our focus, if you have poetry, any papers you've written, if you have any bit of knowledge, whether it is from the academic side or the artistic side of these issues that we talk about, feel free to hit up Barry, me or Lawrence on Instagram, and we will be more than happy to share it on our platform. Like I said, this is a hub, so it is a culmination of different information from different people, not just us three. Thank you, and I'll probably be back with more. A lot of the situations are developing. We're gonna have more protests here in Indianapolis. I ask that all my loved ones and everybody be safe when you're going out to this. Violence always has a chance to happen. Your life is important and it does matter, but you have to be precautious. Your life does matter. Do not throw it away. Like I said previously, this is war. In the war, there is loss of life. There is casualties to property, things, and most importantly, human beings. I'm not saying be scared. I'm just saying if you are, in short, get over it or stay your ass at home. Support from the sidelines. There are many things you do to support from the sidelines. Movements need money. Movements need other people with different skill sets. Find a way for you that your skill set can apply. Ask questions. With that being said, I'm tuning out. Thank you for watching. Be on the lookout for more Young Adults podcast episodes. Love y'all and be safe.